The very first step in our entire process is to create our instance in AWS Lightsail. Coming back to our main Lightsail page here, I'm going to create an instance. We were just here before, but now I'm going to choose operating system only. And I'm going to use the Amazon Linux 2023 image. You can use any of the other images, but some of the commands throughout this tutorial might look a little bit different if you're using different Linux servers. We come down here, you may want to enable automatic snapshots. And for now, we're still going to be using IPv4. For your website, it's important to still use IPv4 at the time of this recording. This will eventually change in the future as we move to IPv6, but at the moment, it's really important to still support IPv4. Now, you can see here for my demo, I've got the first 90 days free. I'm going to just select this one here. Depends what your website's going to be used for, but you can actually move between these plans, so it doesn't matter too much at this point. Okay, I'm going to identify my instance. So I'm just going to call this Lightsail 01. That's the name I'm going to give it. If you've got a lot of servers, you may want to use tags so that you can identify the services that you're creating. I'm just going to leave that now. Okay, and there is my Lightsail instance. Okay, so that server's now ready, and I'm just going to go in and we're going to have a look at some of the features. If I click on connect here, this is just going to bring it up in a browser. I'm actually going to show you how you can connect using PuTTY. There's a little bit of configuration that you need to do, but you can actually jump here and you can have a little bit of a look. I'm just going to list some files. There's no files there. I'm going to change directory to the root and list the files there. And there you see I've got my command prompts up. So let's have a look at some of the other settings that we've got available to us. I've got my username. I'm going to use that later when I connect to my server via PuTTY. And you can see here I've got an IP address. This is not a static IP address at this point in time. Okay, so that's my IPv4 address. You can see I've also been allocated an IPv6 address. These are public addresses. And we will later configure a static IP address so that this won't change. We can create a snapshot, so we might do a manual backup. I've got automated snapshots available at the moment. Now you'll see here it's got storage. I will later be configuring a separate storage disk and attaching it to this server because that's where I'm going to store my files. It means that I can actually replace the whole server. Let's just say it gets corrupted or the operating system's old. I want to do a new upgrade. I can do all that and it's going to be separate from my files. My files will be preserved. Networking, so you'll see here we can attach a static IP. I might actually do that now. I'm not going to change the name. I'm just going to create and attach that. All right, and that static IP has been created. If your DNS is hosted elsewhere that's not in AWS, you'll need to manually add this IP address as an A record to your DNS. Now, we will need to modify the firewall rules slightly because we want to be able to support HTTPS, and at the moment that's not supported by default. So I'm just going to add a rule for TCP for port 443, which is HTTPS. So that's going to allow you to have a secure website, and we will also be configuring a security certificate. That's going to come later. So I'm going to create that one for now. So here's where you're going to configure the domain. Now, if you've got a domain registered in Route 53, which is in AWS, then you can connect it through Lightsail directly. But I've currently got no domains registered in Lightsail. So I'm going to manually create an A record where the domain's hosted and then point it to the IP address that we just saw earlier.